All right, looks like we're good to go. So, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the San Diego Unified School District JROTC Academic League Bowl. Today, we have our 4 final teams from Scripps Ranch, Patrick Henry, Point Loma, and University City High School. We are also joined by a school board member, Dr. Mike McQuarrie, who we would like to thank for coming to watch us today. First, we'll begin with brief introductions for our staff. So I am Cadet Captain Ben Gonzalez. I am the Brigade Commanding Officer for this school year, and I will be serving as your moderator for the final.
Good morning, everyone. I am Cadet Command Sergeant Major Sophia Bernal, and I will be scorekeeping today.
Good morning, everyone. I'm having technical difficulties with my computer's camera. I'll get that fixed in the next few seconds. But I am the Brigade J4, and I'll be serving as the timekeeper for today.
Good morning, everyone. I'm the Brigade J6 Cadet Lieutenant Commander Andrew Gordon, and I am currently working the buzzkeeping / the screen that you are looking at today.
All right, great. Thank you, guys. Before we proceed, we want to take a quick picture for our newsletter. So if you want to be included, turn your cameras on. Otherwise, feel free to turn them off, but I will take the picture real quick. All right, I'll give you guys a few more seconds. All right, and in 3, 2, 1, smile. All right. Thank you, guys. You look great. J6, you can put the stream back up. All right. We will begin with a quick equipment check before we proceed. So J6, take it over.
All right, today's will be really easy. We're just going to go from left to right: Scripps Ranch, Henry, Point Loma, University City. I'll just call name, let level, and then just buzz in, say your name, so I'm not mispronouncing anyone's names. I should know them by now. All right, so beginning with Scripps Ranch 1. Scripps Ranch Run.
Teal.
Good. Scripps Ranch 2.
Chow.
Good. Scripps Ranch 3.
Chan.
Good. Scripps Ranch 4.
Sun.
Perfect. All right, Patrick Henry 1.
Long.
Good. Patrick Henry 2.
Yang.
Perfect. Yang, you may want to be a little louder. You're a little quiet. So I don't know if that's just because you're far from your mic, but speak up just a little bit. All right, one of the Patrick Henry 3s.
Patrick Henry 3, K-Mac.
All right. And finally, Patrick Henry 3.
J-Mac.
Perfect. All right, Point Loma 1. Point Loma 1.
Alaman.
Perfect. Point Loma 2.
Fleming.
Good. Point Loma 3.
Hawk.
Good. Little quiet. So I don't know if you sound a little far from your mic, but you may have to speak up just a little bit. And Point Loma 4.
Triad.
Perfect. All right, finally, UC1.
Daniels.
Good. UC2.
Ing.
Can you pronounce that again?
Ing.
Got it. Thank you. UC3.
Burns.
Okay. And finally, UC4.
Sijadri.
Perfect. All right, everyone's buzzers looks good. Mics work great, other than those 2 that I said, but I'm sure they can fix them. So equipment looks good.
All right, sounds great. So academic teams consist of a maximum of 4 cadets which compete at the same time. Team composition must consist of a cadet from every academic class level, so senior, junior, sophomore, freshman. However, if the captain so chooses, he or she can replace a cadet with one from a lower grade. So for example, a sophomore can replace a junior on the primary team. A team may also use an additional sophomore if no freshmen are enrolled for the second semester, but we do not have that issue today. Competition rules. This is the final. So our final will no longer begin with a toss of questions that will be used as warm up. We will go straight into the first toss up phase. So competition consists of 3 phases. The first toss up portion with questions worth 10 points each, followed by a give and take portion with questions also worth 10 points each, followed by our final toss up phase with questions worth 10 points each that are followed by a 5-point bonus question that can only be answered by freshmen without input from other team members. In the toss-up portions, all questions are from core academic subjects. Each question is read aloud to all 4 teams until an individual cadet buzzes in. Once a cadet buzzes in, I will stop reading the question and that individual must answer within 5 seconds of buzzing in or 10 seconds for math problems. There is no discussion between team members in this online format during the toss-up phase, and the cadet that buzzes in must answer the question. There's also no flashing light for teams that buzz in second. So if you want to try to buzz in after someone gets an answer wrong, you have to re-buzz. After an incorrect answer, other teams must try to buzz in again before time expires. At the beginning of the give and take portion, I will read out the 8 categories of questions available, and each category will have 2 questions in it, each worth 10 points. The team who has the least points entering this give and take section will have first selection. Should the lowest scoring teams be tied at this point, a coin flip will be used to decide who selects first. The team with the first selection will choose one of the categories that they wish to take for themselves and one that they wish to give to the team with the next lowest score. The process will repeat, with each team taking one category for themselves and giving one category to the team with the next lowest score. The team with the highest score will give the category to the team with the lowest score. There is no opportunity for opposing teams to steal points should a team answer incorrectly in the give and take portion. If a team answers incorrectly during this portion, the correct answer will simply be given and the next question in the category will be read. For the toss-up questions with a bonus round, we offer teams a bonus question after a team successfully answers a toss-up question. This bonus question is meant for their freshman team member only with no help from teammates. If a freshman misses a bonus question, the correct answer will be read. There is no stealing of points from other freshmen. A reminder that during the give and take portion, you are allowed to confer, and you have 10 seconds after the question is done being read to confer here on Zoom with your teammates, but you have to buzz in within those 10 seconds. After buzzing in, the cadet that has buzzed has 5 seconds to answer, and conferring must end. Correct and incorrect answers. A correct answer to a question earns the assigned point value. An incorrect toss-up answer will preclude that cadet and the rest of his or her team from answering that question again. Teams are never penalized for answering incorrectly, and no negative scores will ever occur. If the first answer for the toss-up is incorrect, any other cadets who buzz in from other teams will be given the opportunity to answer the question in the order that they buzz in. Should none of those cadets get the question right, I will continue to read the toss-up question in its entirety. As I finish the question, only remaining teams may attempt to answer. If no correct answer is given by any team after 5 seconds, I will proceed to the next question. Questions may or may not be multiple choice, but they will always require a verbal response from contestants. If the question is multiple choice, the answer choices will be labeled A, B, C, D, or E, and although contestants are encouraged to answer with the full answer, giving the letter will suffice. Furthermore, if a team's answers are not specific enough or if they are unclear, I will prompt, meaning that I will ask for a more specific answer or a restatement of the answer. After a prompt, you have 5 seconds to give an answer. Similarly, if you are too quiet, I'll ask you to speak up, but that is different from a prompt. You don't have to come up with a new answer or restatement. You just need to speak louder. Finally, contestants may use paper and pencil for the math questions or to write down the give and take portions, but no calculators are allowed. We have already conducted our equipment check and everything appears to be functional. So before we begin, are there any final questions? All right. Well, again, thank you guys so much for coming out here and, showing up, giving it your all, and we're looking forward to this round. All right, it's gonna be good. So with that, we will begin our first toss-up phase, not the warm-up. So these are all scored questions. So, first question. This composer's first piano concerto was initially rejected by Nikolai Rubinstein. One of his works features a bassoon solo notated with 6 Ps and a second movement whose 5/4 time signature provides its nickname, the Limping Waltz. Another work by this composer features excerpts from La Marseillaise and God Save the Tsar. The score of that work,
Point Loma, Tran.
Tchaikovsky.
Tchaikovsky, is correct. Second toss-up question. A lunar mountain range of this name is located in the Sea of Serenity. One star in this constellation, Alcyone, is the center of a smaller object known as Subaru by the Japanese, and another object in this constellation is accompanied by the newly discovered MP0532. The alpha star of this home of the Hyades cluster is a red giant whose name is Arabic for the follower, Aldebaran. This constellation contains object M45 and object formed by the 1054 supernova.
Scripps Ranch, Zhao.
Taurus.
Taurus is correct. Third toss-up question. This is a 10-second math question, so paper and pencils ready. Asymptotes are defined as a line that continually approaches a given curve but does not meet it at any finite distance. How many vertical asymptotes does the graph of the rational function y equals 1 divided by the quantity x squared plus 2x minus 3 have?
Scripps Ranch, Zhao.
2.
2 is correct. Fourth toss-up question. This hero came to the Phaeacian palace with Nausicaa. Iolaus gave this hero a bag of the winds.
Scripps Ranch, Thiel.
Odysseus.
Odysseus is correct. Fifth toss-up question. This ruler fought a war that included his wounding at the Battle of Dachau. That war was fought against Sigismund III of Poland and was ended by the Treaty of Altmark. During one battle, this man used the mobility of his infantry to capture the Count of Tilly's artillery, which he then turned on the enemy's squares. However, shortly after his victory at Breitenfeld, this ruler was slain while engaging Wallenstein at the Battle of Lutzen, succeeded by Christina for 10 points.
Point Loma, Tran.
Carl the Seventh.
That is incorrect. I will continue the question. Succeeded by Christina for 10 points. Name this king of the House of Vasa.
Scripps Ranch, Zhao.
Gustavus Adolphus.
Gustavus Adolphus is correct. Sixth toss-up question. In one of this man's stories, Jupiter's confusion between the right and left eyes of a skull delays William Legrand's excavation of Captain Kidd's treasure. He also wrote about a man.
Patrick Henry, K-Mac.
Stevenson?
That is incorrect. I will continue the question. He also wrote about a man who cuts out Pluto's eye and later kills his wife with an axe, only for his wife's corpse to be discovered behind a cellar wall. This author of The Gold Bug and
Point Loma, Tran.
Edgar Allan Poe.
Edgar Allan Poe is correct. Seventh toss-up question. These substances either using a ping pong mechanism or a ternary complex intermediate. One model of them defines the parameters k minus m and Vmax and uses a steady state approximation. They can be inhibited non-competitively.
UC Shashadri.
Enzymes.
Enzymes is correct. Eighth toss-up question. One argument in favor of this doctrine concerns a super scientist who lives in a black and white room who is then confronted with color. Besides Frank Jackson's Merry Room, David Chalmers defends the substance version of this doctrine by using philosophical zombies in one work. Ryle criticized it as the ghost in the machine. This doctrine was first espoused in a work which posits the possibility of an evil demon casting an illusion. For 10 points, name this philosophical doctrine espoused by Descartes, which states the...
Scripps Ranch, Zhao.
Solipsism.
Can you repeat that, Cadet?
Solipsism.
That is incorrect. I will continue the question. Name this philosophical doctrine espoused by Descartes, which states the mind and body are separate entities.
Point Loma Tran.
Transhumanism.
That is incorrect.
Time.
The correct answer was dualism. Ninth toss-up question. Modified forms of this hormone include aspartate, lispro, and glargine, and 6 molecules of this hormone coordinate to a zinc ion in a vesicle. This hormone
Scripps Ranch Zhao.
Insulin.
insulin is correct. 10th toss-up question. Benjamin Jesty was ridiculed for performing this practice. One effort to perform this action on a large scale was the Balmis expedition. The developer of this practice was inspired by the letters of Lady Mary.
Scripps Ranch Zhao.
Vaccination.
Prompt.
Smallpox vaccination.
That is correct. 11th toss-up question. This man rose to political prominence by giving the "A Time for Choosing" speech on behalf of Barry Goldwater. After an attack on American soldiers in a West Berlin nightclub, this
Scripps Ranch Zhao.
Reagan.
Reagan is correct. 12th toss-up question. These entities become gigantic in the May-Hegelin anomaly, and their namesake factor 4 combined to heparin. ADP activates their GP2B3A integrins to aggregate.
Scripps Ranch Zhao.
Platelets.
Platelets is correct. 13th toss-up question. This city contains a structure with terracotta walrus heads stuck to the 3rd floor called the Arctic Building. Among the notable buildings in this city include a central library designed by Rem Koolhaas and the Experience Music Project designed by
Scripps Ranch Zhao.
Seattle.
Seattle is correct. 14th toss-up question. The impedance for this device is inversely proportional to frequency. In a DC circuit with this device, if a switch is initially open and is closed at time 0, the voltage across this device is defined as V sub 0 times the quantity 1 minus e to the negative t over tau. These circuit elements.
Patrick Henry JMac.
Capacitors.
A capacitor is correct. 15th toss-up question. At one point in this novel, the title character desires to spit out this stale wine and kill himself, though he is dissuaded by a mystical sound coming from inside his body. The main character accepts that his son has run away to the city after his lover Kamala dies of a snake bite.
UC Shashadri.
Siddhartha.
Siddhartha is correct. Final toss-up question in our first phase. One character on this show forms the League of Doom, which includes Dustin Goolsby and drug dealer Sandy Ryerson. Another character on this show lives in the American Family Motel after his dad loses his job, and that character, Sam Evans, is known for his trouty mouth. This show also features characters such as the former.
Scripps Ranch Zhao.
Justice League.
That is incorrect. I will continue the question. This show also features characters such as the former fake stutterer Tina Cohen Chang and wheelchair-bound Artie Abrams as members of New Directions. For 10 points, name this TV show in which Will Schuester and Jane Lynch's Sue Sylvester fight over the existence of a high school show choir.
Point Loma Tran.
Glee.
Glee is correct. So this concludes our first toss-up phase. We will now move into the give and take portion with selection of categories based on team points. So Sophia, can we get a quick score check?
As of right now, the scores are Scripps Ranch with 90, Patrick Henry with 10, Point Loma with 30, and UC with 20.
All right, great. So given that, our selection will go Patrick Henry choosing first, followed by UC, followed by Point Loma, followed by Scripps Ranch. So our categories, and we will throw them in the chat as well after I'm done reading them. But our categories for today are history, literature, grammar, music history, dancing, presidential conundrums, geography, and biology. So here they are in the chat. So with that, Patrick Henry, you will have 30 seconds to choose one category to keep for yourself and one category to pass on to UC. So 30 seconds, the floor is yours.
All right.
Do you think we should keep what I think we should keep? Or
Yeah.
I don't know.
Literature, right?
Yeah, I haven't been doing so well today, but this,
Yeah, I mean,
this time
hey.
it'll work.
Comeback time.
What should we give?
Presidential conundrums. That one could be easy.
But it could be hard. Should we just give geography like we've been doing like the past 2 times?
Yeah, honestly. So we'll keep literature and give geography. Everyone agree with that?
Geography's a safe bet, yeah.
All right. We've come to a decision. Keep literature and give geography.
All right, so that is literature with Patrick Henry and geography with UC. All right, thank you, cadets. UC, you now have 30 seconds to discuss which category you will keep and which category you will pass on to Point Loma. The floor is yours.
Any ideas on what to keep?
We could possibly keep grammar because grammar is universal. That could be an easy one. Do you think?
Yeah, I'm not too strong in any of these ones, so it's all what you guys decide.
Okay.
So, okay, so we will keep grammar, and what we're going to give.
We could give music history. That one. Right.
Fine.
Guess so.
Okay.
So, I guess we'll keep grammar and we'll give music history.
All right, so that is UC with grammar and now Point Loma with music history. All right, great. Thank you, cadets. Point Loma, you now have 30 seconds to choose which category you will keep and which category you will pass on to Scripps Ranch. 30 seconds, the floor is yours, cadets.
I'm fine with either history or biology, but definitely we should give dancing.
We should give dancing. I think we should take bio because Hawk, you were taking bio this year, correct?
Yep. I can do bio.
Bio tends to be a lot harder than history, though.
Oh.
Would you rather do history?
Mm-hmm.
I'm good at history too. I think Tran's better at history.
Let's do history.
All right, cadets, so what are your final categories?
We will take history and give dancing.
All right, so that is Point Loma with history, giving dancing to Scripps Ranch. All right, Scripps Ranch, you now have 30 seconds to choose which of the remaining 2 categories you will keep and which you will pass on to Patrick Henry. 30 seconds, floor is yours.
So we're stuck with bio and presidential conundrums, right?
Yes, I think so.
Between the 3 of us, I think we have bio kind of down. Although I do wish Vanessa was here.
Me too.
We can take bio then.
Yeah, take bio. Okay, Raymond.
All right. So we have a decision. We're gonna take bio and give presidential conundrums.
All right, so that is Scripps Ranch with biology and Patrick Henry with presidential conundrums. Okay, great. Thank you, cadets. So again, a reminder that during the give and take portion, only the team that is answering the topic at the moment can answer it. And you have 10 seconds within your team to discuss here on the Zoom for 10 seconds again after the question is done being read. And upon buzzing, you have 5 seconds, but no conferring during those 5 seconds. Are there any questions before we enter our final give and take portion? No, great. All right, seeing none. We'll begin with Patrick Henry's 2 topics of presidential conundrums and literature, and we'll begin with literature. All right. First question. Among this writer's works are the semi-autobiographical Confessions of a Mask and The Temple of Dawn, which is part of his Sea of Fertility.
Patrick Henry, K-Mac.
Mishima.
Mishima is correct. The Sea of Fertility includes a novel titled after the spring type of this substance, which also describes a type of evening of a Robert Frost poem where the narrator stops in the woods.
Patrick Henry, K-Mac.
Snowy.
Snowy is correct. All right, this concludes the literature topic for Patrick Henry High School, and we move on to presidential conundrums. First give and take portion, or first question. One person who attempted this action, Squeaky Fromm, was a member of Charles Manson's cult and used a gun without bullets in the firing chamber. For 10 points each, name this action only successfully completed 4 times. Failed attempts to do this.
Patrick Henry, J-Mac.
Assassination of a president.
That is correct. Second question for the topic. This man attempted to kill Ronald Reagan in 1981, claiming that he was trying to impress actress Jodie Foster.
Time.
The correct answer was John Warnock Hinckley Jr. Very long name. All right, this exhausts Patrick Henry's give and take categories. We will now move on to UC with your 2 categories of grammar and geography. And we'll begin with grammar. So first question for grammar. These phonemes form voiced and voiceless pairs. For 10 points each, or for 10 points, name these letters contrasted with vowels.
UC, Shashadri.
Consonants.
Consonants is correct. Second question. To produce this type of consonant, the tongue temporarily blocks airflow to a region and then suddenly releases it. Alveolar ones include T and D, while bilabial ones include P and B.
UC, Shashadri.
B.
Oh, that is incorrect. The correct answer was stops or plosives. Moving on to your second category of geography. First question. Major cities in this nation include Da Nang and Kanto. For 10 points, name this Asian country whose highest peak is Fansipan and which is bordered to the east by the South China Sea and the Gulf of Tonkin.
UC, Ing.
China.
Oh, that is incorrect. The correct answer was Vietnam. Second question. Vietnam in the south contains the delta of this river that forms the Tonle Sap as it flows through Cambodia.
UC, Shashadri.
Mellowy.
That is incorrect. The correct answer was the Mekong River, or Mekong. All right, this exhausts UC's give and take categories. We will now move on to Point Loma with your 2 categories of history and music history. We'll begin with history. So first question. Answer some questions about the exploits of Alexander the Great. For 10 points, after sacking this city, Alexander dragged its leader Baptiste behind his chariot. It is the namesake of a strip that was disputed between Israel and Palestine until 2005.
Point Loma, Tran.
Gaza.
Gaza is correct. Second history question. Alexander won at Granicus and Issus before finally finishing off the 3rd Persian emperor of this name at the Battle of Gaugamela.
Anyone know?
Point Loma, Tran.
Is it like Darius?
Darius is correct. Music history. First question. Alexander Glazunov composed a concerto in E-flat major for the alto form of this instrument. For 10 points, name this single reed brass woodwind instrument. Its jazz practitioners include Charlie Parker and John Coltrane.
Isn't that the saxophone?
Point Loma Fleming.
Saxophone.
Saxophone is correct. Second music history question. This minimalist American composer wrote a concerto for saxophone quartet and orchestra, as well as the opera Satyagraha and film scores such as Koyaanisqatsi and The Hours.
Any clue?
No.
All right, I'm gonna guess.
Sorry, that exhausts the time. The answer was Philip Glass. So this concludes Point Loma's give and take portion. We will now move on to Scripps Ranch with your two categories of dancing and biology. So we will begin with dancing. All right, first question. In this ballet, Uncle Drosselmeyer puts on a puppet show before giving Clara the title toy as a gift. For 10 points, name this ballet, which includes a battle with the Mouse King in its fantasy scene and is set on Christmas Eve.
Is this the Nutcracker?
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
Do you want to buzz or? Okay.
Scripps Ranch, Zhao.
The Nutcracker?
The Nutcracker is correct. Second question. The Nutcracker was composed by this Russian composer who was not
Tchaikovsky.
actually part of the Mighty Five.
Tchaikovsky?
Tchaikovsky. Yeah.
Tchaikovsky.
Yeah.
Buzz. Yeah, somebody buzz.
Tchaikovsky.
Okay, I'll buzz.
Scripps Ranch, Thiel.
Tchaikovsky.
Tchaikovsky is correct. We move on to your biology category. First question. These organelles found in plant cells have stroma and grana. For 10 points each, name these structures that have a double membrane and are the location of photosynthesis.
Chloroplasts?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, let's go.
Scripps Ranch, Zhao.
Chloroplasts?
Chloroplast is correct. Second question. This tissue made from sieve elements transports sugars that are the end process of photosynthesis throughout the plant.
Is it like xylem or phloem or something?
Xylem or phloem? I think
Phloem
it might be
is- phloem
phloem.
It's
Okay, go.
phloem.
Phloem. Go
All
for
right,
it.
someone buzz.
Scripps Ranch, Sun.
Phloem.
Phloem is correct.
Nice.
All right, this concludes the give and take portion, and we will now move into the final portion of the competition. In this phase, a toss-up question worth 10 points will be asked, and any team can respond. And if answered incorrectly, a bonus question worth 5 points will follow for freshman team members only. Remember, other freshmen cannot buzz in if the bonus question is missed or if time expires to steal the points. Before we begin, let's do a quick score check. Sophia?
As of right now, Scripps Ranch is at 130, Patrick Henry is at 40, Point Loma is with 60, and UC is with 30.
All right, so anyone's game still. Are there any questions before we move on into our final phase of the competition? Great. All right, then let's begin. Question 1. This body holds a 1-to-2 resonance with the objects known as twotinos. This object is itself surrounded by rings named for Arago and Lassell, while its outermost Adam's ring sports clumps referred to as arcs. This body's atmosphere exhibits a feature known as the wizard's eye, and this body has the strongest winds in the solar system.
Point Loma, Tran.
Neptune?
Neptune is correct. Bonus question for Point Loma only. Operation Nemesis was an effort to assassinate the people who planned this, and its victims were aided by the American Committee for Relief in the Near East. For 10 points, name this event which began with mass deportations under the Texir Law. Its victims were forced to march in the deserts without food or water, and one country refuses to recognize it as a special occurrence. The correct answer was the Armenian Genocide. Second toss-up, anyone can answer, and this is a 10-second math question. So paper and pencils ready.
Sorry, my bad. Can we not worry about that?
Yeah, all good. Could that we haven't started the questions? Very good. All right. An open box of length L, width W, and height H is to be constructed. The square foot cost of the material for the base is 60 cents, and the material for the sides is 20 cents. Express the cost in terms of L if W equals 2H and L equals 2W. You have 10 seconds.
UC Shashadri.
3W plus 3H.
Can you repeat that, Cadet?
3W plus 3H.
That is incorrect.
Point Loma Tran.
184 cents.
That is incorrect.
Scripps Ranch Zhao.
60L.
That is incorrect.
Time.
The correct answer was 0.315 L squared. That has to be the hardest math question I've ever seen. Third toss-up. The festival of the October horse featured a sacrifice to this god, and Anna Perenna tricked this god into marrying her, thinking she was Minerva. The Roman battle standards initially lost at Carrhae were installed in a temple to this god built by Augustus, who worshipped him as Ultor. Flora used a magical herb to help Juno give birth to this god without a father.
Scripps Ranch Zhao.
Mars.
Mars is correct. Bonus question for Scripps Ranch only. The difference between the quantity of workers demanded at the minimum and equilibrium wages represents this quantity. The Phillips curve describes its relationship with inflation.
Scripps Ranch Thiel.
Interest.
That is incorrect. The correct answer was unemployment. Fourth toss-up. An early form of this idea was expanded by the German epidemiologist Max von Pettenkofer and introduced by Johann Dobereiner, while John Newlands compared it to a musical scale in his development of laws regarding it. Those were
Point Loma Tran.
Octet
that is incorrect. I will continue the question. In his development of laws regarding it, those were the laws of triads and the law of octaves. Glenn Seaborg made the last major modification to this object, and either Lothar Meyer.
Patrick Henry Yang.
Chords?
That is incorrect. I will continue the question. And either Lothar Meyer or Dmitry Mendeleev is credited with introducing its modern.
Scripps Ranch Zhao.
Periodic table of elements.
The periodic table of elements is correct. Bonus question for Scripps Ranch only. For 10 points, or for 5 points actually, identify the following terms related to crystals. This is the amount of energy required to form 1 mole of a crystal compound from each of its component gas phase ions.
Scripps Ranch Thiel.
100 joules.
That is incorrect. The correct answer was lattice energy. Fifth toss-up. Scriabin claimed that this key was golden brown, citing an aria about gold and jewels in this key from The Miserly Night. One musical work in this key originally contained an opening and closing march and 2 minuets before its composer axed both marches and a minuet to turn it into the Hafner Symphony. Another piece in this key was originally paired with a gig in the same key and contains a notable 1, 4, 6, 3, 4, 1, 4, 5 chord progression. For 10 points, name this relative major of B minor, in which.
Scripps Ranch Zhao.
B major.
Can you repeat that, Cadet?
B major.
D major is correct. Bonus for Scripps Ranch only.
May I ask one question?
Yes.
I think you said B major, not D major.
No,
Cadet?
I did not. I said
Okay.
I think I clearly enunciated D major.
I heard D major as well.
Okay.
Also, I would not like to insult my intelligence by saying that they said B minor in the question already.
Okay. Moving on. Please, everyone, remute yourselves. We will have a bonus question for Scripps Ranch. One of this author's poems compares the title figure to a violet by a mossy stone, half hidden from the eye. For 10 points, name this romantic poet who wrote She Dwelt Among the Untrodden Ways, one of his Lucy poems, and collaborated on lyrical ballads with Samuel Taylor Coleridge.
Scripps Ranch Thiel.
Elliot.
That is incorrect. The correct answer was William Wordsworth. Sixth toss-up question. Anyone can answer. This character consoled a librarian who he believed needed a little tenderness in one episode, and he coached Miss Rhode Island in the Miss America pageant in another. He also refused to wear a red ribbon in an AIDS walk, gave a Peterman reality bus tour, and has a mysterious friend named Bob Sacamano. He wrote a coffee table book about coffee tables and hid his first name from his friends for years before his mother Babs revealed it to be Cosmo. For 10 points, name this character played by Michael Richards, Jerry's next door neighbor on Seinfeld.
Scripps Ranch Zhao.
Kramer?
Can you repeat that, Cadet?
Kramer?
Kramer is correct. Bonus for Scripps Ranch only. The creator of this painting may have modeled the figure of Heraclitus on Michelangelo. For 10 points, name this painting which depicts Plato and Aristotle walking through the tidal location surrounded by classical thinkers and mathematicians.
Scripps Ranch Thiel.
The halls of Athens.
Prompt.
The school of Athens.
The school of Athens is correct. Seventh toss-up, anyone can answer. One of these entities protects the sleeping Charlemont in the atheist's tragedy. Another one is brought on stage by Revenge to witness the death of Balthasar in kids' play The Spanish Tragedy. One of these figures tells Brutus, "Thou shalt see me at Philippi" in Julius Caesar.
Patrick Henry, K-Mac.
Oracle? No.
That is incorrect. I will continue the question. In Julius
Scripps Ranch Sun.
Ghosts.
Ghosts is correct. Bonus for Scripps Ranch only. This theory was an extension of an earlier theory in an attempt to show how gravity affected the curvature of space. For 10 points, name this theory published by Albert Einstein in 1916.
Scripps Ranch Thiel.
General relativity.
General relativity is correct. Giuseppe Fieschi attempted to assassinate this man with several rigged guns that ended up killing 18 other people instead. With Charles-François Dumouriez, this man deserted the French army in 1793. His advisors included Louis Moll and
Point Loma Tran.
Berthier?
That is incorrect. I will continue the question. His advisors included Louis Moll and Francois Guissot, and his father was the Duc d'Orléans. He came to power due to the support of Marquis de Lafayette, and his reign was known as the July Monarchy. For 10 points, name this man who served as the citizen king of the French before being succeeded.
Scripps Ranch Chen.
Louis Philippe.
Louis Philippe is correct. Bonus for Scripps Ranch. In this play, Mitch listens to another character's recollection of her husband Alan's suicide. For 5 points, name this play in which Blanche Dubois comes to live with her sister in New Orleans, is raped by her sister's husband Stanley, and is sent to an asylum.
Scripps Ranch Thiel.
A streetcar named Desire.
A Streetcar Named Desire is correct. Ninth toss-up. Anyone can answer. Overconsumption or underconsumption of this element can lead to the Wolff-Chaikoff effect or the Jod-Basedow effect, respectively. A compound containing 3 atoms of this element is activated by a severe drop in body temperature and regulates hibernation cycles and molting. That hormone regulates protein synthesis and bone growth.
Scripps Ranch, Zhao.
Iodine?
Iodine is correct. Bonus question for Scripps Ranch only. Identify some things about the journey of the Argonauts. For 5 points, the Argonauts were tasked by King Peleus to recover this item, which was nailed to an oak by King Aetus. It was created.
Scripps Ranch, Thiel.
Golden Fleece.
Golden Fleece is correct. 10th toss-up. Anyone can answer. The Kakabeka Falls are located on a tributary of this body of water, the Kaministiquia River, and it is also fed by the Nipigon and St. Louis rivers. The Porcupine Mountains are to its south, and Copper Island is an extension of the Keweenaw Peninsula in this feature. Manitou and Madeline are among the Apostle Islands in this lake, which drains via the St. Mary's River and also contains Isle Royale. Called Gichigami in Ojibwe, the Mesabi Iron Range is to its northwest, and its western terminus is at Duluth, Minnesota. For 10 points, name this largest of the Great Lakes.
Scripps Ranch, Chen.
Superior.
Superior is correct. Bonus question for Scripps Ranch only. Answer a question about the periodic table. For 5 points, the columns of the periodic table are called groups. The rows, on the other hand, have this name, and their arrangement can be explained by what orbitals they use.
Scripps Ranch, Thiel.
Periods.
Periods are correct. 11th toss-up. Anyone can answer. He created the Jesuit priest Fray Antonio, who he claimed was a real author of a work outlining Abul Hassan's conquest of a frontier town, as well as Boabdil's capture by Ferdinand I. This author of the Alhambra and A Chronicle of the Conquest of Granada also wrote a work in which Diedrich Knickerbocker describes a man in the Catskills who sleeps for 20 years. This man wrote of
Patrick Henry, K-Mac.
Irving.
Irving is correct. Bonus question for Patrick Henry only. For an atom, it is computed by adding the number of electrons in lone pairs and 1/2 the number of electrons in bonds, then subtracting that number from the normal valence. For 5 points, name this measure of the nominal charge on an atom in a molecule.
Time.
The correct answer was formal charge. 12th toss-up. Anyone can answer. A test for its rate of occurrence uses the International Normalized Ratio, which can be increased with a deficiency in vitamin K. Christmas factor and factor 8 are 2 of 13 plasma factors necessary for this process, another of which is von Willebrand's factor. This process is hindered in people with Bernard-Soulier syndrome, and this process forms a fibrin network upon an accumulation.
Scripps Ranch, Chen.
Clotting.
That is correct. Bonus question for Scripps Ranch only. For a vacuum, it is equal to the inverse square root of the electric permittivity times the magnetic permeability. For 5 points, give this value that is used to calculate the index of refraction of a medium and is approximately equal to 3 × 10⁸ meters per second in a vacuum.
Scripps Ranch, Thiel.
Speed of light.
Speed of light is correct. 13th toss-up. Anyone can answer. Richard Stockton, Daniel Rodney, and Robert Harper were members of this party who received vice presidential votes from the Electoral College. This party's last major candidate, Rufus King, ran twice for vice president under Charles Pinckney. One member of this party published a report on manufacturers, and policies of this party were attacked in the Virginia and Kentucky.
Point Loma, Tran.
Progressive Party?
That is incorrect. I will continue the question. Or attacked in the Virginia and Kentucky resolutions. One member of this party warned against foreign entanglements in his farewell address. For 10 points, name this early political party of Hamilton, Adams, and Washington.
Patrick Henry, K-Mac.
Republican.
Republican is incorrect.
Scripps Ranch Jow.
Federalist.
Can you repeat that?
Federalist.
Federalist is correct, although I disagree with putting Washington in there. Bonus question for Scripps Ranch. Name this Asian religion. For 5 points, Mencius is known as the second sage of this religion, named for the man whose sayings are collected in the Analects.
Scripps Ranch Thiel.
Taoism.
That is incorrect. The correct answer is Confucianism. 14th toss-up, anyone can answer. One of the more easterly discoveries of this group was at the Kabar Cave on Mount Carmel in Israel. This group used the Levallois technique to produce Mousterian tools and was named for the German valley where their fossils were first discovered in 1856. A common descendant of Homo heidelbergensis among with
Scripps Ranch Chen.
Neanderthals.
Neanderthals is correct. Bonus for Scripps Ranch only. In the 2007 film version of Philip Pullman's The Golden Compass, he lent his voice to the Panzerbjorn Eirik Bjørnson. For 10 points, name the movie in which McKellen lent his name to the Toad, a mobster in this 2006 computer animated film about a whole bunch of rats in England.
Scripps Ranch Thiel.
Ratatouille.
That is incorrect. It is flushed away. Good guess, though. 15th toss-up. Anyone can answer. Eunuchs who held power in this polity included Joseph Bringas and a man known as the Chamberlain, whose nephew would win the Battle of Cladion. Clemens to this state's throne ruled in Trebizond, Epirus, and Nicaea after it was replaced by the Latin Empire. It was later restored by Michael Palaeologus, and among its more successful rulers were Basil the Bulgar Slayer and Justinian.
Point Loma Tran.
The Eastern Roman Empire.
The Eastern Roman Empire is correct, or also the Byzantines. Bonus for Point Loma only. It is divided into the fundus, the body, and the cervix. For 5 points, name the part of the female reproductive system in which the egg becomes implanted in the uterus after traveling from the ovaries via these tubes. Ectopic pregnancies occur when an egg becomes fertilized in one of them.
Time.
The correct answer was the fallopian tubes. Final toss-up question. Anyone can answer. He made 5 versions of his best-known print, which includes a horseman holding a lance and is entitled 3 Crosses. One painting by this man shows the dissection of the criminal Eris Kint, and another is a group portrait of sampling officials entitled The Syndics of the Cloth Guild. This man's best-known work includes a girl carrying a chicken and depicts the company of
Scripps Ranch Son.
Rembrandt.
Rembrandt is correct. Final bonus question for Scripps Ranch only. The last of several treaties ending this war was the 1721 Treaty of Nystad, which transferred Estonia, Ingria, and Livonia to Russia. For 5 points, name this war, which included the siege of Narva and proved fatal for Charles XII of Sweden.
Scripps Ranch Thiel.
100 Years' War.
That is incorrect. The correct answer was the Great Northern War or the Second Northern War. This concludes our competition. We will do a final score check, Sophia.
The final scores are Scripps Ranch with 280, Patrick Henry with 50, Point Loma with 80, and UC with 30.
All right. Well, we congratulate Scripps Ranch for being our champions this year. We also congratulate Patrick Henry High School, Point Loma High School, and University City High School for coming out here and participating in our final. I want to thank my incredibly talented staff for their hard work and consistent dedication to our work, as well as the brigade instructors for their support throughout the school year. Most of all, however, I want to thank the cadets for coming out and competing. You know, in a year filled with unprecedented crises and cancellations, you have persevered and brought even the slightest sense of normalcy back to our lives. And I sincerely hope that the next school year is a lot more fun for you guys. I also want to thank the school board member, Dr. Michael McQuarrie, for coming out and seeing us. And I hope you guys have a great weekend.
And before you all go, Dr. McQuarrie, any comments?
Yes, I would like to congratulate all the cadets, especially acknowledge Scripps Ranch for their outstanding. This was an incredible series of questions. It's amazing as to how quickly you can think and respond. It was an excellent example of your academic program. And I just want to congratulate all of you for your participating in this Joint Brigade Academic League competition. Wish you well and hope to see you soon.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. All right, cadets. Again, just such a great job by each and every one of you. The way you come out, I'm glad that I'm not playing against you because I'd lose. You guys are a lot smarter than me. So congratulations. We'll also make sure that the academic trophies on your particular place get sent up to you, and also the academic league medals that all 4 teams have earned. So congratulations, cadets, and go out and enjoy your weekend. Thank you.
Have a great weekend, cadets.
Thank you, everyone.